Hey guys, and welcome back to Latasha Hewitt Homes. We're so happy that you stopped by this channel, and thank all of you for helping me to reach 300 subscribers. We're getting up there. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to this channel. Well, one of my most popular videos has been when I cleaned my oven with the pink stuff. I'd heard so much about it online, and I just wanted to try it for myself in my very dirty oven, and I did. And so many of you shared with me some of the tips and tricks that you used. And so I decided it's time to do it again. Aside from the fact that it's dirty again and needs some deep cleaning. And so some of your ideas were to use a Scrub Daddy sponge this time, which I do have right here, Scrub Daddy. And another one was to use a toothbrush. So this can help with these little fine bristles, get some of those areas that I wasn't really able to tackle before. So are you ready to see how it works out the second go around with some new tools by my side? Well, stay by. Okay guys, so I really wanted you to see that I always wait until the oven is absolutely dirty and atrocious before I start this process, so that everyone, no matter what stage your oven is in, can see that how it works for the condition or state of your particular oven. So as you can see, it's gotten dirty again. Aside from us wiping spills here and there, it's gotten to the point where it does need another clean. So this is the before. And I just can't wait till the after. Let's go. Okay, so before I get started, I decided I wanted to just kind of wipe some of the crumbs that I see off the surface. I don't want the paste getting filled with a bunch of crumbs that it can't get to the grease and the grime. So I'm just wiping those loose crumbs off the surface. My husband did use a vacuum cleaner to get some other stuff, some crumbs that were at the bottom of this. So it's not much there, but I wanted to make sure I did that with the door before we get started applying the paste. Okay, for those of you who may be watching this video, independent of seeing the other one, I wanted to make sure I went over a little bit of the overview about the pink stuff. And I always include a link to where I purchased it on Amazon. It's 99% natural ingredients, which we like, environmentally non-toxic, non-hazardous formulation, and is not tested on animals. But most importantly, it's tough on stains, and that's what we want when we're cleaning. Something that's easy, makes our job go much faster, but also efficient. So we're going to try out this miracle cleaning paste on this oven in its present condition. Just some reminders: you don't want to use this when the oven is hot, obviously, or warm. You definitely want to make sure that it's cool. And you also want to make sure that when you're rubbing with a sponge that you don't rub too hard, because you don't want to, create scratches in certain areas. So just be careful of that. But for now, let's go ahead and start our application. Let me grab my Scrub Daddy and my toothbrush. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and apply the paste with the sponge. Now this was always a tricky part for me. I'm like, okay, do I take it out with a sponge or what? But I'm just going to kind of lop it on there. As a matter of fact, I'm actually going to use the toothbrush as kind of like a spoon to get things done. And it is a pretty thick kind of paste, but you don't need a lot of it caked up into one spot. So I'm just going to kind of take it out. Now, one thing about the oven, though, it is a pretty large surface, and so you're probably going to use a lot of the paste, but it's definitely worth it. And this is relatively inexpensive, so you're not breaking the bank, but you do get a pretty good clean and a pretty easy clean. All right, so we're just going to spread this through, and we'll show you what it looks like after the paste has been applied. So as you can see right now, I'm kind of using the sponge now to spread the paste out over the surface. Now that I've used the toothbrush to kind of help get it out, now we're just spreading it across the surface. And we want to make sure we get a good layer. Not too much, but enough of a layer where it's able to kind of get to the grease and the grime and everything else that's stuck on the surface of your oven. All right, so I'm putting some here as well, because I know there's some areas here that need a little TLC. The other areas aren't as bad. They stay pretty clean, but this primarily comes from dropping things in the oven, whether you're baking French fries or something else and it spills and these little things just kind of stick. And you keep telling yourself, yeah, I'm going to clean that up, I'm going to clean that up. But you don't always get to it. So just making sure we get a nice spread in the bottom of this area. So I'm focusing mainly on the door of the oven and the bottom of the oven. But I will wipe down the sides, but they don't need an extensive clean right now. All right. Okay guys, so I've just let it sit for a few minutes. It doesn't say that you need to do that on the container, but I just always feel like, you know, when it sits, it gives it a chance to kind of seek in a little bit and soften up the surface. But we're going to wipe this off and then we're going to rinse it with hot water. Those are kind of the instructions, pretty, you know, straightforward. And so if it doesn't look clean, we'll try another coat, but hopefully it will do the job. And another thing about this, it doesn't have a very strong smell. So it really just smells like Play-Doh, I think. It doesn't really have a strong odor, which I really appreciate in cleaning products. Anyway, let's do this wipe and then we'll get those surfaces that need a little extra attention with a toothbrush, because the bristles are soft enough where it won't harm anything, but it can kind of get into those areas that the sponge may not be able to do so. So let's do it now. All right, we're still continuing to wipe. We've done our first kind of rinse off of the sponge. It's easier to kind of see the areas that need a little extra scrubbing. Scrub Daddy, I see now why people are recommending the Scrub Daddy, because, you know, the texture of it allows it to kind of break up a little more of the caked on spills, and it's not scratching your glass door. So I understand that recommendation. So thank you to the viewer who suggested that. I definitely am seeing the difference. But because it creates this little sudsy effect, you do kind of have to rinse it a few times just so you can see what still needs more attention. So we're going to keep doing that and checking back in with you. Okay. So one of the lessons I did learn from the last time was not to apply as much paste, because as you can see here, it does foam up. And so last time I had so much paste that it made wiping it off more difficult, or it took a long time, because it does create some bubbles, some suds. And so you just feel like you're wiping and wiping forever. And I ended up having to wipe some of it off just to be able to clean the surface. So, you know, don't put too much of a heavy coat on there. Now we're getting to the point where we have wiped a couple of times and rinsed the sponge probably about 3 times. And it's, as you can see, it's still a little soapy. I don't know about you, but I like soapiness because it makes, I equate it with cleanliness. So I'm okay with that. And you also want to make sure you get in between this little space here that goes around the oven, like the little seal there, because things can get trapped in there. So I'm going in there as well. As you can see, icky things are coming out because things slip in between those crevices. And we'll also use the toothbrush to make sure we're getting that good. All right, so I was just thinking, I wanted to make sure I let you guys know that I'm not one of those like cleaning freaks. Like, I'm not necessarily a person who enjoys cleaning, like that it's therapeutic for them and they get all the feels from watching things go from dirty to clean. Yeah, I'm not that kind of person. I clean out of necessity. Okay guys, just to give a check in. I've wiped it down, rubbed the sponge around it for a few times, and it keeps keeping its sudsiness. So we're just going to use a little microfiber cloth, some warm water, and give it a wipe so we can see what areas may need a little extra scrubbing. Okay, so yes, wiping it down now to get some of those suds out with a warm water on this cloth. Now we can really see where we are with things. Also, I'm going to wipe off some of this I didn't use the sponge for. But the bottom of this, and this comes off very easily. After you scrubbed it with the Scrub Daddy, wiping off the paste with warm water is so much easier. So I'm already seeing a remarkable difference. And I'll bring it a little closer for you to see. Okay, this is just wiping off the initial sudsiness with a warm cloth, warm water on this cloth here. And this is what it looks like. So you can already see how clean it has gotten. And then we're going to get a little deeper and just see what areas may need a little extra attention and see how we can utilize our toothbrush. Okay, we're just wiping it one more time with the warm water on the cloth. Doing the same here at the bottom of the oven. Comes off so easily with that warm water because it helps break up the paste and makes it a smooth wipe. And so far so good. Because there's still some of it on here, I'm using that to just wipe up the other areas so that the whole oven gets wiped down, even if it didn't need a whole bunch of scrubbing. And we'll do the same in the back. And you don't want to forget the areas on the outside too, even the outside of the door. Want to make sure those are wiped down as well. All right, let's see how it looks after this initial wipe. All right, guys, I'm loving that shine. You see that shine from here? Looking good. That's the inside of the oven. Let me see. What do we have here? That's the area we'll use the toothbrush for. And some of these other areas that still have some black specks on them. But not too bad, not too shabby. Definitely much better than it was before. Okay, now we're going back around. Now that we can see what was done. And adding a little bit more paste with this toothbrush. Just to agitate some of those areas that remained after our initial wipe down. I'm particularly using the toothbrush to get in between these corners. Oh, you can't even see what I'm doing, can you? These corners around the edge of the glass. So I'm taking the paste just a little bit, almost like using toothpaste, and getting in these corners. Just to make sure they get clean as well. Forgot to show you guys, but I went over those areas again, and already I can see where it came right up. I'll show you. You'll remember some of the spots from the other video, and you'll see that those spots are gone now. So even after you do that initial clean, you may have to go back over some of the concentrated spots that don't come off easily the first time around. And this is a paste, so it does have the tendency to leave a wet residue. That's why you want to make sure you continue to use the hot water to break it up a little bit and make sure it's all gone. But the good thing about it is it's environmentally friendly and it's not harmful to you. So I always like that when it deals with food. If by chance you miss a little spot and pink stuff is in your oven, it won't kill you. But so far, so good. I'm liking this. I can see how the toothbrush was helpful. I can see how the Scrub Daddy was helpful. If you have some tips and tricks that you've used that I should use the next time, please put them in the comments. I love hearing from you. All right, so here we go. The second time around, as you can see, this area is now cleaner. That corner is now clean. And this oven is looking pretty good, thanks to the pink stuff. There we have it. The pink stuff scores again. I think last time I gave it a 7 out of 10. I think I would give it an 8.5. I realized that when you pair it with the right tools to make sure the application goes on just the way it should, it actually creates a better experience. So try using the Scrub Daddy or maybe another sponge that works really well. But don't forget to always wipe it down with the warm water. That helps it come off very easily. And I want to show you how much I used. So as you can see, this is that tub. It's 17.6 ounces, but there's still a lot left. To clean that whole oven. I think if we were to keep using this simply in the oven, we could probably do it at least 5 times with this. And it's also good for the stovetop. Stovetop looks pretty good right now, so didn't want to waste it just for the sake of demonstration. But this also works well if your stovetop gets really greasy from cooking and a bunch of stuff. Try using the pink stuff as well. Once again, like I said, I'll put the link in the description so you can check it out. I always buy it on Amazon, though I think Walmart sells it, but since most of us are always ordering things from Amazon anyway, it's kind of easy to just put it in the cart and have it delivered. Well, let me know what you think. And have you used it? What have been your results with the pink stuff? Anyway, I thought it was time for an updated video, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure you like it. And if you haven't already, I'd appreciate it if you'd subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.